Welcome to this session on testing the Lambda function using test event. As you can see, I have already opened one Lambda function named as event demo. This function is offline currently. That is, it is deployed on Lambda platform, but we cannot trigger it from outside world. So to test such function, we can use test event. So if you check deploy section, there are two buttons, deploy and test. I have already explained importance of deploy button. Now to test the Lambda function, we can click test button. It will prompt for selecting saved event or create new test event. As I am testing this function first time, I am selecting create new test event. This will open one widget to create a new event for testing. We can mention some name for that event here. For example, I am using my event as a name for this event. You can then configure this event also. Like I'm continuing with the default setting for sharing, that is private, and then I can select template for writing template for this particular event. I'm continuing with the default one, it is hello world, but you can select any option out of this drop down list. Then we can press save button to create this test immediately. So you can see that the test event, my event is successfully created. Now we can test our Lambda function by just clicking the test button given in deploy section. It will immediately execute the Lambda function. As you can see, the status of testing is succeeded. Test event that is used for testing purpose my event, and in response we are getting 200 hello from Lambda, right? And there is also one section called as function logs in the output, that is to print the log of execution of the function. Here you can see that there is one ID assigned to request that is made by test that we executed. So this is like calling the Lambda function from outside world using HTTP only. But now, for now, we are actually using test button or test functionality of IDE available. Here you can see the other details also, like unit duration, max memory use, and all. Then you can alternatively use test button or test section of this IDE, where also you can then select the event name from drop down. As you can see, the event is already there because we have created it recently, right? Then we just have to select the event by its name, using its name, and then we can press test button. So again, you can see that the test is successfully executed. Because of this succeeded, we can conclude that it is successfully executed, and then we can check its output also. So in the response, we are getting 200 and hello from Lambda. Then we can scroll it little bit to check the log also, right? So to check whether actually something is happening, we can go back to code section again, and we can modify the code little bit. Okay. Right. So I have modified this code now. I have just mentioned one print function here, calling to call to print function, where I am trying to write stars on console. So once I modify the code, I cannot check that immediately, or I cannot test that immediately. I need to first execute deploying of the code. So you can see that is now updated, and then I can execute the test event by clicking the test button. Right. So you can see that the stars are printed now. Right. So we can go to test section also to test this alternatively, right? And to check this log of the output, to check the log of the function call. As you can see, there is stars, there is a star line, right? So to check this log, there is one more utility available called as cloudwatch. So to check the log on cloudwatch, we can just click this logs button here. It will open the same log using cloudwatch. Cloudwatch is again a service similar to Lambda for maintaining the logs of the other services that you are using for your application. So you can see the latest log file. And if you open that one, you can check that the print function that is executed prints star in the log. So this way we can actually execute the Lambda function. There is no other way to execute the Lambda function. To execute the Lambda function, the only way is to use either test event or to trigger the Lambda function from outside world. In the next lecture, we will see how to trigger the Lambda function using API gateway. Now, we can make this Lambda function multi-file also. To make this Lambda function multi-file, let's make few changes. So we can take out this hello world Lambda and we can write down a separate function for that. So to create the new file in this environment, we can use this button for new file. So let's call that utilities function, or let's say hello function, say hello for t. And then we can define one function here, if say underscore hello, and I think you are aware of how to write function in Python, right? So now we are having one file called as say hello, and inside that there is function called as say underscore hello. So we will go back to lambda function.py. Now let's import say underscore hello function here. For that, I think you guys know syntax is from say hello, import say underscore hello. And then we can call this function also here directly. So now the say hello function is returning this string to this line, and then that will go back to the calling end or caller end. Now the code is modified, hence to execute that, we need to deploy it first, right? So let's click deploy button again. And then we can test it using test button, right? So in the test, the output of test is given here, succeeded, my event, response, oh sorry, it is not written in the line, right? It is throwing null. So we need to check why it is happening. Oh, so I mentioned print here, right? Instead of return. So I should make it return, right? This function should return the value instead of printing. Then only we can return the valid hello from lambda string we call inside. So let's deploy it again. Let's test it again. Now you can see that the test is succeeded, right? The test name is my event. The response we are getting hello from lambda in body. Stars are also printed because we are having print function call here, and inside that we are writing something like star, a few stars, right? So this way we can trigger lambda function. We can test lambda function on IDE. Trigger lambda function from outside world. We need to use some trigger mechanism for that. We will discuss how to use API gateway to trigger the lambda function from outside world in the next lecture. Thanks a lot.